Welcome to the regular scheduled public meeting for the month of June for the Shreveport Caddo Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission. Would ask that you would join us today for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. I ask if you would, Mr. Andrews, to share in our opening prayer. Mr. Allegiance, if you would lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this opportunity to serve the citizens of the city of Shreveport and surrounding areas. We pray for guidance, wisdom, and understanding as we deliberate the issues brought before this body today. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews and Mr. Ruiz, and thank you all for sharing with us. Again, welcome to the regular scheduled public meeting of the Shreveport Caddo Parish Metropolitan Planning Commission for public hearing agenda items. If you wish to make public comments on an application, we have Mpc comment slips at the speaker's stand next to the podium. For future notification purposes, it is very important that you fill out a slip and drop it in the box when you come forward to speak. Please state your full name, mailing address, and zip code before addressing the board. We will call each case on the agenda in order and hear first from the applicant, then those who are interested in speaking in favor. 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. We will then hear from those wishing to speak against an application. Again, 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. One representative of the application can then speak in rebuttal if so desired. After hearing comments on each case, the board will then immediately deliberate and then vote on that case before moving on to the next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any member of the public may request a copy of the board's decision on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1 o'clock on tomorrow, or by accessing our website at shreveportcaddompc.com. For consent agenda items and other agenda items not requiring a public hearing, public comments can be made upon request by filling out an Mpc comment slip. If comments are requested for a specific agenda item, the chair will offer an opportunity for those comments prior to the commission taking action on the agenda item. All of the Mpc board decisions are subject to appeal to either the city council or the parish commission, depending on the location of the property in question. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact the appropriate governing body about their procedures as related to the matter you are concerned with. Copies of this document and the phone numbers to contact the governing bodies are available on the table next to the podium and in the entryways to this room. As a courtesy, ladies and gentlemen, please remember to turn off all cell phones while the Mpc board is in session. The commission values your testimony and appreciates your compliance with these guidelines. On our agenda today, we have approval of minutes as next item from our May 3rd, 2017 board meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Young and a second by Ms. Smith. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, all opposed no.
Yeah. Mr. Jean, Miss Bessie does not work. Let's try this, Mr. Jean. It's not working, Mr.
All
Chair.
right. All in favor, if you will, but would you just signify by?
Mr. Chair, it's back up. We
So,
can try it again. Can we do it again? No?
It's like you need to y'all can re-vote.
Do what?
Y'all can try to vote again and see if it'll work.
Or we can just do register by hand, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna come back up. Oh, there it is.
All right, all in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Okay. All right, it's unanimously approved. Our next item on our agenda is an announcement, an invitation from Mpc Shreveport, Mr. Joe Minakazi. Well, not Mr. Joe Minakazi. Yes.
Hello there, my name is Tim Wright. I'm here with my colleague Chris Lyon. Thank you so much to Mark Sweeney for letting us make this announcement. I'm here with my initiative, Reform Shreveport, and we're happy to announce a speaker that is coming in June 22nd. His name is Joe Minakazi. Him and his firm, Urban 3, are based out of Asheville, North Carolina, and they're coming here to speak on how we can make the best financial decisions regarding future developments in our city. And so I think this is a very important thing for all members of our community, especially the business community, as we look at issues such as rising water rates in our city and how we can combat that and how to make the best use of future development so that we're making smart decisions so that they can pay for themselves in terms of infrastructure. On the handout, I've also included a study that Joe's firm has done from Lafayette, Louisiana. They using tax data and GIS data, they create graphics like this that show which areas of their city provide the best return on investment. They provide data regarding the relationship between how much public development you have to invest in an area and compare that to private development. And so we'll have his speaking event on June 22nd. We'll have two events. One will be at noon at the Chamber of Commerce, and then another one will be at 6 o'clock at Central Art Station. And I'll be happy for any MPC members to attend, and I think this is a great way to explore ideas that can influence the way that we continue to better our community. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is it June 22nd?
Yes.
Thank you. Our next item is our consent agenda. There's only one case on our consent agenda, case number SC 81-A1-17. That's the final plat. What's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Remedies, a second by Ms. Smith to approve. All in favor vote yes, all opposed no. That passes 7-4-1 against. Next, we have public hearings. First is item number 8, case number SC-80-17, a preliminary and final plat. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of that application?
Hey, good afternoon. Michael Kelsch with Rayleigh and Associates, 4913 Shed Road, Bossier City, Louisiana, 71111. It's basically just a 20-lot subdivision that's going to tie into St. Charles Place subdivision. Here to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Any questions on case SC 80-17? All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Is there any other persons here wishing to speak in favor of this application? Seeing none, is there anyone who is here who wishes to speak in opposition to this application?
Mr. Chair, motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young, a second by Ms. Smith to approve. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor vote yes, all opposed no. All right, passes. Next item is item number 9, case number C-75-16, zoning request. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this application?
My name is Gloria Hogan. I live at 4042 Crosby Street. I'm here for the case 7516 4611 Monk House. I'm here to request a zoning change from B1 to a C1 and from a B2 to a C2 to allow for the construction of a commercial strip center. As of May the 9th, we have approved and met all of the MPC requirements for the rezoning request. The MPC staff has recommended approval of this rezoning. We're looking forward to moving on this project in a timely manner. And thank you for hearing our request.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Smith?
Yes, I have some questions and very delighted to see you back still trying because you've been to the city council and to us several times. But I would like to know what you plan to put in the strip mall because I read about a restaurant there.
Mm-hmm.
And can you explain in some details?
I don't really know what we're gonna put there. It might be a restaurant or either a little store.
A store?
Yeah, a little store, like a little corner, you know, like a little store. And I might have a restaurant in that store though. Yeah, because we really haven't made our mind up what we're gonna really do yet, but
I can't hear you.
I said we really haven't made our mind up where it's going to be, like a little shopping store or either a restaurant. Yeah.
Is that it, Ms. Bessie?
Yes,
All right.
that's it.
Any other questions? Thank you. Is
Okay.
anyone else here to speak in support of this application? All right. If not, is there anyone who's here to speak in opposition to this application? All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Young and a second by Mrs. Smith to approve the application. There are no questions. All in favor vote yes. All opposed, no.
You did.
Mr. Andrews didn't.
Let's leave it up. I'll do it again. How about that? There you go.
All right, so, that is approved as well. Our next case is case number C-50-17. It's a plan use development zoning request and preliminary site plan. Is there anyone here to speak? I guess the applicant is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board. Thank you, Mpc staff, Director Sweeney. We're coming to ask for a change of zoning from an R1D to R1DE PUD.
Before you move forward,
I'm
name
sorry.
and address for the record. Name and address.
Gerald Fodell, 6319 West 70th Street. We have been on this journey for about 10 months, planning and preparing for this this day and this project. What we're asking to do is put in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation treatment center on the 17 acres that we have currently on West 70th Street. It is about 34,000 square feet that is already built out and about 90% ready to go. There'll be some construction through the site plan that we put together. We've agreed upon for the improvements and the amenities that we're asking to for the zoning change to allow this to take place. What we've done since we started this project is we started engaging the community back about 6 months ago in January. That we started through open houses, small gatherings, anybody that pretty much basically anybody that would listen to us to tell our story. This whole journey started out through a process of mine that I went through an addiction and looking for treatment. And you know what always comes to happen sometimes is that you have to look outside. And I wanted to stay here close to in the region, and unfortunately it took us that possibly Austin, possibly in California. I wound up in Florida. And it made me think about when I was inside, it made me think, why do we always have to go? Why do we have to go shopping to Dallas? Why do we have to go here for somewhere else? Why can't we create a world-class facility here in our area, in Shreveport, Louisiana? And especially on the west side, we have an area that I think is perfect for the situation, the way it's built out and the way it's situated. On the site plan, the ingress and egress will pretty much come off of, everything will come off 70th Street. There'll be no disruption to the surrounding community. That's the most important thing that what we shared and what we brought forth to the community. First of all, was that we did not want to disrupt the quality of life. Safety and security was the most important. I live there. My family lives there. I will continue to live there in that area. My family will continue to live in that neighborhood. And the utmost importance is to the quality of life for our neighbors. What we're looking to do is to do something different and I would say cutting edge. To build a world-class facility and to operate a world-class facility. Our team that we put together is world-class through the direction of our new CEO and President, Rod Williams, and the collaboration that we have with the LSU Health Science Center. So what I'm asking to do is to allow this to take place so we can bring forth a quality product to the west side of Shreveport. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Odell, Mr. Remedies, and then Ms. Smith? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Colvin, then Mr. Remedies, and then Ms. Smith.
I mean, I punched in person. Mr. Odell,
Yes, sir.
The thing I'd like to ask, and Ms. Smith may be punching in for the same thing. We had one of these a few meetings back.
Yes, sir.
It was in a different area.
Yes, sir.
They didn't have a whole lot of outreach. I don't want to talk about anybody else's cases. Tell me what you've done in the last 60, 90, 120 days on outreach in the community and the neighbors.
What we've done is we've canvassed the neighborhoods. We've visited with every church. We opened our circle. We weren't just concerned about the 300 feet that were touching this property or whatever. We opened this up to the west side and pretty much to the city of Shreveport. So from door hangers, just like you would get if SWEPCO was going to do service in your area, we put them on doors. We passed out flyers. We held community meetings. We went to community meetings. We went to different church functions. We went to the local small groups. Hosted literally probably about 1,500 people in our facility. Sat down, listened to. Some people are in total agreement. Some people need to be informed. The stigmatism about addiction is the first thing I started to do is try and break that down and shed that it's what you think what it looks like all of us. It doesn't look like what you would think it is. And so that we went out and we tried to break that down and say this affects all of us. And if it doesn't, thank God that it doesn't. So we went out to anybody and everybody that would listen. And canvassed the area and shared our story. That was the biggest thing. That was the hardest thing for me every day, is to get up and tell my story of how I fell and how I went through this. It was an embarrassing situation, but it had to be told, to break down the walls. And that's what we did. Is we went out and told that story every single day, and that's how we carried this vision. So it's been, anything, crawfish boil at the house, that, fish fries, countless fish fries. I went to put this suit on today, and the suit fits a little different because of the fried food that we've been eating. So, don't ask me to button this suit.
It's not because you hadn't tried to get to it. Right?
No.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Remedies?
The staff had some recommendations on stipulations, and that's typically part of a PUD. Is they'll ask for things maybe
Yes.
above and beyond. But were you aware of the 5 stipulations that they wanted to see on the final site plan?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen those and you have no objection?
No,
to that?
we're
It's
in
not
total
a deal
agreement with
breaker
those.
for you?
Yes.
And then, okay, so the access, if there was an emergency with the fire department access and all, you're aware of that? I believe that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. That's all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Smith?
Yes. I just think it's just amazing what you have done. You have partnership with a coalition of people, not just the surrounding area, but you just reached out with a huge campaign to let them know I'm trying to save lives.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been through that and you know what it is all about. It's just amazing. God had to put this on your heart.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have traveled that way extensively. And I really know when it comes to traffic, it would not be a traffic problem at all.
Right.
Because when you go into Lincoln, it's just like, I like to eat and I go to Jan all the time.
Right.
And I know all about that area.
Right.
And I thank you for what you're doing, because you're touching the lives of people spiritually, socially, emotionally, all of that good stuff.
Thank you.
And I know what it's all about. I had a brother once in drug and alcohol, and boy, I tell you, just to look at him and how he made a change. And I went there. I don't want to talk too long,
Right.
but I did go there. And to look at the patients in there, and if a person had just made a change in a second, they was doing that.
Yes.
And I told my church, I said, we need to go and just observe some of the people. And I found out that it's a disease.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like cancer.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like I just got off of that machine, dialysis. But by God's grace, He's so good. And I look at you and all of the people that you're a partnership with. It's got to be God that told you to open up your home. But I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I need to ask you, how many doctors will you have on staff there? Can you answer that?
Between the medical doctors, the clinical doctors, and the nursing staff is in around 20.
Okay. I want to know something else about, will it be working class people, private for insurance like Medicare? Could they go?
The insurance piece, it'll be working class and professionals that this facility will be built for, that in commercial insurance.
I just want to thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. No other questions for Mr. Fodell? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else here to speak in support of this application?
Yes, my name is Wendell Delaney. Jerry Fordell and I are in partner with this project.
State your address for the record.
2909 Curtis Lane, Shreveport, Louisiana. Just to kind of give you an idea, Jerry and I, we probably have had more than 300 meetings, inviting people from Steeplechase Church is here today. Most of the people who are here today have been invited to come to the place. Some may be for it, some may be against it, but we tried to share the message with everyone. We tried to address all their concerns. We talked about security. There would be security on the property 24/7. We have two houses, one located at the front and one located at the back. We have either sheriff or police department there. The security is going to be buffered by two fences. One on the east side, which is Steeplechase, that'll be a 10-foot fence. There will also be a driveway that will be used for just commercial. That's going to be buffered by a 10-foot fence. There would be no traffic coming in and out. The only traffic that's going to be coming is somebody that's being dropped off for treatment. Won't be no cars, won't be nobody walking throughout the neighborhood at night, won't be nobody jumping the fence, those type of things. Won't be no, if you're there on the site, you won't have a car. You'll be dropped off, you come in by airplane, somebody pick you up, bring you to the facility in 30 to 45 days. Once you're treated, hopefully you'll be on your way. Won't be no traffic, won't be nobody. At certain points of time, you will be allowed visitors, but the people who would be actually on site to be treated, there won't be no transportation. So everything will be right there in the house. That's everything from getting a haircut to groceries. Won't be no traffic in and out. So all those things that you need will be right there on site.
Anybody got any questions for Mr.?
What will be your hour of operation?
It's going to be 24 hours, 7 days a week, and hopefully we'll be able to hire at least 120 people, and hopefully we'll be able to hire most of those people from the west side. Actually, we have already hired 2 people who live in Steeplechase community to be a part of this project.
Mr. Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm glad you touched on that, because would you touch on there, so there's some additional staff you've already hired. I believe one of them was formerly with University Health?
That's correct. Our CEO and our president is Mr. Rod Williams, and he's present here today. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to, the level of expertise you're bringing in is almost unprecedented. So.
Yes. Like I say, we want this to be a world-class facility, and it not only will it be a world-class here for Shreveport, but for the whole country.
In all fairness, Mr. Delaney, you're retired fireman or police?
Retired police officer. Yes, sir.
Officer. Thank you for your service.
Thank y'all.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Delaney.
All right. Is there anyone else to speak in support of this application?
My name is Wes Usay. I live at 6532 Lowlet Lane in West Shreveport, just actually a few hundred yards from where this facility is slated to be in operation. I also own and operate a business in West Shreveport. I just wanted to come and speak on behalf of Mr. Fodell. I think as a resident of West Shreveport for nearly 30 years, this actually breathes life into the west side of the community. This isn't something that's being done like the current facility that's now in West Shreveport that's now vacated. I mean, this is a few $1 million worth of investment by a man who moved here and moved to West Shreveport and invested everything in West Shreveport. He's a guy who has stood behind it. I'm proud to call him my friend. When I was first contacted by him about something like this, obviously I had reservations. But it doesn't take a smart man to look at the plan of what he wants to do to see that he's making an investment in the community. And this isn't something that I would see making my property values decline, but improve. These are not type of crackheads that are in alleys that are coming here. I'm an employer that paid $30,000 for one of my employees to go to a similar treatment facility that was out of town. These people pay a lot of money to come to a facility like this to get help. These are professionals. These are people that are CEOs and making a difference in their community, that drugs happen to get them, just like Jerry was explaining his story did. The fact that we don't have something like this near us speaks volumes that something like this could benefit our community. Like they said, 125 jobs to the west side. I mean, I have a business in the west side of town. This potentially could become one of, if not the largest employers on the west side. And so with the investment that he's making one more time in the west side of the community, I would like to see the Planning Commission grant him this, because I think overall it'll create a great improvement for the west side of our city.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Donald Hobdy. I live at 6123 Ambleside. I'm also, not only am I a resident in the area, I'm a business owner in the area as well. I operate 2 businesses within a mile of the proposed location, and I live within a half a mile of the proposed location. Not only do I own 2 businesses in the proposed, near the proposed location, but I represent 2 other businesses who are members of the National Association of Minority Contractors, who are located within a mile of the business as well. One of the main things that we looked at when we looked at this project, Shreveport is known for people leaving. We're always complaining about our young folks not having anywhere to go to work. Here we are proposing 120 plus jobs. This will allow people who normally probably leave Shreveport, going to Dallas, Houston, or wherever looking for work, to be able to stay here in Shreveport. Additionally, from what I've read, they're investing initially about $8 million the first year in this facility, which would bring in about $700,000 worth of taxes for this area. Their proposed payroll is going to run around $3.5 million a year, which equates to about $6,000 to $7,000 a week in taxes for this area. So not only is it going to help the person who are affected with these diseases, but it's going to help the local economy as well. So with that said, I implore each of you to vote yes for this proposal. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel one out.
You already did?
Yeah, listen about it. Any questions?
Good afternoon. My name is Kristen Davidson, and I live at 6329 West 70th Street in Shreveport, 71129. My house is right in front of the proposed property for the Resilient House project. I bought my house at the end of December in 2016, and I have not had any problems with the neighborhood since I moved in. I love the neighborhood. It's quiet and it's peaceful. When I first heard of the idea for the Resilient House project, I immediately thought it would be a great addition to our community. The treatment center will bring jobs to our area, also while helping people who really need the help. As a nurse, I feel that it's very important to have a safe haven for people who really need it. We have an opportunity to help people in our community with this project. Why shouldn't we take that opportunity? My house is very close to the Resilient House property, practically in the front yard, and I plan on staying there. I'm getting married in October 2017, and my fiance and I are very happy to live at my current address. This project will be a wonderful addition to our community. Thank you for your time.
Reverend Andrew Cooks, 6207 LaFleur Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana. I come to lend my voice in support to this Resilient House. My church is there in that community, Steeplechase Baptist Church, where I'm associate pastor. Pastor Antonio Dixon is the pastor there. And I was at the church cleaning up one day, and the knock came on the door. And the man came in and told me about this project. And I thought it was a prayer answered. I was there because every Friday night we call it watch night. And we get together and we meet 1 hour with people of problems. So we have a beautiful opportunity, but the problem is already here. The people that need the program already walk the streets of Shreveport, Louisiana. So we have a chance today to embrace something and appeal to the conscience of people of goodwill who will just come together and realize that this is not only presented to us, but it's an opportunity for us to embrace and to this wheel. And I've never seen it so beautiful. It's already put together. It's a wheel you don't have to make. All you got to do is push this wheel. And we have this opportunity here because on Friday night, I almost like do a Band-Aid job. Sit down with people, listen to the problems, talk to them, I even make coffee for them. But when he told me about what was going to take place there, and they came knocking as a neighbor, but they came not only as a neighbor, but as a friend. They showed us their friendship, their neighborly behavior. And so my church members and I myself have gone there and have sat in the crawfish boil, have had breakfasts there, and they became not only friends but neighbors. Now, you can fool people half the time by being like you some kind of friend, but you can't hardly fool them when you're trying to be a neighbor. And so we had this opportunity today to reach out, and because the problem here exists, we can help some people. Some people that need a second chance and another chance. And you know, mental health is something that we've learned to embrace. I'm a veteran of Vietnam, PTSD. I have it, but I don't get paid for it. But I go to the program and learn about it, and it helped me. It took me 40 years to get to the program because I didn't think nothing worked. I didn't think there was no solution to the problem. But by having that opportunity to get there and listen to people, and I found out I could help myself, and I still go because it helps me. But there are people that are walking around the streets today that need our help. If we would only be citizens of goodwill and reach out to this program and just give them that opportunity that we give so many other people who are suffering in our community. I feel
All right, thank you.
My name is Zach Young. I live at 6306 Garden Oaks Drive, Shreveport. This property is right behind my house. We look at it every day. We see it. It's a beautiful property. I've known Mr. Fodell for over 20 years, and throughout all the years of knowing him, he has reached out to every community he's been in. He supports the local community, and through the past 11 years that we've been here in this area, he has poured hundreds of thousands of dollars in the community without being asked. He's done it from his heart. And for him to put this together, it means a lot. And it comes with a lot of heartache for somebody that has to go through something like that. And I don't think I'm out of line by saying at least every one of us knows somebody with a problem, an addiction. It's out there. And this is a perfect opportunity to help, as well as all the other things that you hear and how much it can help the community with business growth, money, jobs. In the end, it's best for everyone. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Tommy W. Nart Sr., 5700 West 70th Street, right here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I came today in support of the project as it relates to helping those that have addictions. Several years ago, my brother-in-law had an addiction, and he OD'd in the college dorm, and there was no place to take him to get any help, so I had to drive him all the way to Florida to get the help that he needed. And well, after so many years, he's much better now, but at that time we didn't have a facility that I knew of in the Shreveport area that could help him with his addiction. My church is probably less than a mile away from the facility. And I am a charismatic pastor, and that meaning is that my church, we're a spirit-filled church, and we exercise the laying on of hands as we minister to people. And after been pastoring for 21 years, I know this to be fact. After we've done the things we need to do at the altar and minister to people, there's something much more that needs to be done. And after meeting with Gerald and Wendell, I took a walk through the facility, and I said to myself, you know, I said, this is so needful here in our Shreveport area, because as a pastor, you know, I mean, we might not want to admit it, but we have people that struggle with addictions. And it's something else that needs to happen after the altar. And I just really feel in my heart that what Gerald and Wendell has done, after I took the walkthrough, I was so impressed that the facility is already ready to do what it needs to do. And then for Gerald to be honest and to be to share his story is so amazing to me. And it took him to had gone through that episode in his life to have the passion that he has now to make a difference in our community. I am reminded of a story in the Bible when Jesus, he said to his disciples, he said, the laborers are few. Pray that the Lord of the harvest will send forth laborers into the harvest.
And right before he said that, if you read the text above that in Matthew chapter 9, it says that Jesus looked out among the people, and what he saw caused him to have compassion. And what he saw was, he saw people that were sick and people that were diseased. And because of that, then he tells the disciples, the labors are few. Well, I certainly appreciate what Gerald and Wendell and the others have come together, and the other people that are supporting their efforts. It means so much to me as a pastor that now I know there's a facility in Shreveport that I can recommend for people after I've done everything I need to do as a pastor at the altar and in my office in counseling. There's a facility that can reach a little bit further to help the situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ertel Payne. I stay at 8002 Hobbs. Came out from St. Louis about 13 years ago. Ended up on drugs, crack cocaine. I ended up in a program that Mr. Jeff Odell was contributing to. So I met him one day working in this program, just cleaned up at a football field, and I saw him. And he asked me, was I in this program? I told him, yeah. So he said, if you ever need anything, just give me a call, and gave me his card. I said, thank you. So he said, well, don't call me sir, don't call me mister. Well, about a month later, I graduated from this program, and they had a fundraiser, and I saw him there. He said, you all right? I said, no, sir. Well, don't call me sir. He said, you all right? I said, well, I'm getting out, and I need a job. Well, the same area, when I got out, was just nothing but trees and leaves. That's all was back there. So when I got out of the program, he took me back there, and he told me, I want you to rake up all these leaves. Every day, come here from 6 to 6, rake up all these leaves, and I'm going to pay you $10 an hour. He said, well, I said, well, I never get a model up, then you'll always have a job. But now, I employ 4 employees for Shannon Glory Cleaning Service, and I've been working with him for the whole time. When things got slow in other areas that he did, he always kept a job for me enough to pay my employees and bills. I love this guy, and he's a great guy, and he's a godly guy, and I appreciate him. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Barnes. I live at 6137 Wincanton. I have lived there for 18 years, and I can honestly say I have never had any problem with the police, anybody burglary or anything like that. It's a quiet neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. When I first met Jerry, and he was telling me about what this business was going to entail and everything. You know, I said, I was kind of skeptical. I said, oh, okay, whatever. And then he told me his personal story, and it's touched my heart. And I went home, and I prayed on it, and I had just a sudden peace about it. And I said, you know, this is something that would be great for Shreveport, what he's doing. And I said, anything that I can do, I'm going to try to help. And I have never thrown myself into helping anybody in any business, something that I believed in. But this is something that I really believe in. And the thing is, if you can't help somebody, then I think you are a pretty sad person if you see something that you think is a good idea, and I throw myself into it as much as I can. And I was just so glad that I met him and talked to him, and I've gone to the sessions, and I still feel a great joy and peace about it. I tell all my sisters about it, and all the people that I can talk to. I went to house, putting flyers on people's doors. I talked to people and told them what I knew about it and everything. They said, "You think this is a good thing?" I said, "I really do. Come out and listen and judge for yourself." And I just hope you all vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is William Burnside. I live at 6114 Ambleside Drive in Shreveport, Louisiana. I had the privilege of meeting Gerald Fidel and Wendell Delaney. Words cannot explain. When you talk about giving someone their life back, their family back, words can't explain that. I mean, we could go on and on about what's going to take place there, but families will be mended back together. Fathers will be back with their children. Mothers will be back with their husbands. You can't put a price on that. I'm listening to the stories of Mr. Fidel telling his story. I don't even know the story he went through. That touched me to hear that, because I have a heart. I have family members. Don't know what situation they may have to end up coming to that facility. But if I got to go to Florida to do it, I don't know if we can afford that or not. But it's going to be an opportunity right here in Shreveport, Louisiana, where if that do arise, that it's going to be available for them. And the love that's behind this, the spirit-filled people that's behind this, hey, you just really got to not do this with your head, do it with your heart. And when you do it with your heart, what's in it going to be manifested. And I do appreciate you for your time. Thank you.
May I say something
To him?
to him?
Yes, sir.
You know, I was just touched just listening to you and the other lady. And I thought of a song that say, "He touched me and made me whole." And I just want to say, I hear his name, but I know one thing. He been touched by God and also a lovely, lovely wife. I know y'all talking about him, but he has a wife that's gone beyond her call of duty. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you.
My name is Betty Davis, and I'll probably be the last. I'm 88 today, and so I'm the last Davis that will ever live on this property. And it means a lot to me what happens to it. When my husband's mother and father came out into this West Shreveport, was not even Shreveport then, it was out in the country, there was no road, there was no electricity, there was no water, there were no conveniences. It stood in the midst of a pristine pine forest. And they bought it so that Poppy D one day could sit there and watch the birds and so forth. And then the airport came in and changed a few things. But nevertheless, this property has always been destined for something like this project. When the Davises moved there, there was no church, there were no people. And finally, as a community grew up, 3 of the families mortgaged their property in order to build Broadacres Baptist Church. It was a long, slow process as they bought land and they'd get a little money and build a little bit more. So they had, and for 1 year, on that property we're asking to have rezoned, on that property they held church services on the benches that Papa D made out of planks of wood from the trees there, and the pulpit that he cut off and made it look, a tree, he cut off and made it look like a pulpit. They held service there for a whole year without it raining. When I came there many years, 16 years ago, almost all the property except a little over an acre that I live on, all of it had been bought up for various reasons, but I had had a dream for a long time of wanting to build a renewal center, mainly for tired school teachers and professionals and ministers and other people that would come there that would be tired and not have the money to really have a good retreat and be recovered again. A long time ago, didn't know these folks at that time. It seems that the property as it's been changed hands, has come into a more, its purpose. When they built the dormitory, that was just another expansion of using that property for something that was for good and that was wholesome and that it was God-based. And so today they're asking to take another whole step, a gigantic step. I've watched them, they are not Southerners, but man, they are the best Yankees we've ever brought down here. I watched them. Everything they do with excellence. It's nothing about this is going to be less than the best that it can possibly be. It'll have the best staff. It'll have the best. I can see it becoming just a beautiful haven there, not only for the whole neighborhood. And everything they do brings more value to the rest of the property. I can just see a whole neighborhood building up out there of really nice homes and really encouraging of people, because West Freeport is not going up at this point. And we need what this is. But this is a God gift. This is what I believe the property was destined for. And I pray that you will see that and that you can see what an advantage it'll be, not only to the people who are going to be there, but to all of us. And it's a blessing to me to see that the property is going to leave our hands as Davis's, and it's going to go into the hands of other people, but it's going to be done for God's purpose. Thank you for your time.
Ma'am. Ms. Davis?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Ms. Davis,
Yes.
did you say today was your birthday?
I didn't hear you.
Today is your birthday?
Yes,
Happy
I'm
birthday.
88 today.
Happy birthday.
Good afternoon. Tabitha Taylor, 5714 Woodridge Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana. I am here to offer my support for Resilient House, and I'm hoping that you all will be resilient in your vote and support it. Thank you.
My name is Alan Bates. I live at 6220 North Windermere. My yard backs up to his property and everything, and I'm for this project. At first I was kind of against it, or wasn't sure about it, until I went over there yesterday and he gave us a tour and told us about it. And I realized it's something he didn't just jump into halfway. He thought about it, and like he did a lot of studying on it and everything. And I know Mr. Delaney wouldn't be in part of it if it wasn't good. And also, if this thing passes, it's good for me. I'll give me a fence for my backyard too. But I think it's a good thing for the West Shreveport, just for the city. Keep the money here, keep the people here, and we need it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tammy Uze. I live at 6532 Lowlet Lane, which is right around the corner from where this is going to be built. I pray it'll be built. I'm totally for it. I know these people. I met them when they first moved here. They came from Michigan, and after meeting them, I knew that God had purpose in their life. And everything, I will reiterate what's already been spoken, everything Jerry Fodell touches is excellent. He is excellent, and he wants, from the time he moved here, his kids went to Evangel Academy. Well, they needed a new field. They could have never done that. Jerry took over, didn't even know anybody. He just replaced it all. It was beautiful. Everything he does is beautiful. So, and his heart is beautiful. What God's done in him is beautiful. So I plead to you, say yes.
Thank you. Is there anybody else to speak in support? If not, is it?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Rod Williams, members of the board. I'm Rod Williams. I'm at 9674 Calliope Lane. And it's an honor for me to be a part of a program and a work that's going to continue to serve and better this community. The testimonies that have gone in front of me is clearly, it's hard to not be a part of developing something in this region that provides us an opportunity to do very good and to restore families back to each other. We have that opportunity right here in Western Shreveport. When you think about the pandemic that's occurring across the country, when you think about the medical expertise that we have readily available to us right here, it's really prone for us to develop a program like the one that's being proposed before you today. As coming on board as the CEO, one of the things that I did was to really tap the medical manpower that's here. So I turned to LSU and asked them to help me develop the medical leadership that we can do something really well together. Here I have with me this evening our medical director, Dr. Horton, who is the faculty chair at LSU. And it's those type of services, those type of expertise that we will be deploying in this region. We do have a great opportunity to do some really good things in this region, and it's my intent, and you can certainly hold me accountable to the fact that we'll be developing some top-notch programs and services here, something that you will be proud of, that the region will be proud of, and we can actually keep families here. We keep them together. We don't have to travel to Florida or to Dallas or to Colorado to have these services. We have the capabilities of developing these programs and services right here in Western Shreveport. Western Shreveport now has the opportunity to be an open gateway to things that can change. Both the economic value, the clinical care, and the medical expertise can come together right there on that property. So it's an honor for me to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to working with this committee, with the town, with the city, with the leaders here to bring forward the highest and best that we can bring for services here. Thank you.
Just before you leave, Mr. Williams, Mr. Young, and then Ms. Smith.
Mr. Williams, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Just as a footnote, I think I saw a story last night. The #1 killer of the people in the United States now is drugs.
It's drugs, right.
The #1 killer. I mean, it's just ironic that it came up last night on television, and I said, #1 killer. I mean, it used to be automobiles, or it used to talk about all the other things that were the #1 killer, and now it's drugs. And this is our new war, I guess.
This is our new pandemic, and I think we're addressing it as such. I think if we look far and wide, we can really see and know individuals who have been affected by this. I was in the military, allowed me about 14 hours with my son down in Fort Benning. Had an opportunity to talk to a soldier who father took his life based on narcotics and the opium addiction. And I said to him that we'll get it right by this. This is why we have to get this right. We need to be able to restore fathers back to their families, families back together, spouses back to each other, and children back to their parents. And so I want to be a part of doing something just like that right here in this community. So,
thank you.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Mr. Clark made me think of something when he said about drugs. I heard on the news where Shreveport was the second highest crime rate in the state of Louisiana. But I wanted to say something that I heard you state that you was about to leave here. And will you elaborate on that? I know you may not want them to know, but afterwards, because of him, you stayed.
Well, the opportunity for me, I came here and made a commitment to develop this community and to make it healthier, better, stronger, and do a collaboration with all the medical leadership here. I think my time had come and gone to do that, and I was on my way back to Virginia. I got a call from a pastor here in the region, and I reminded him that I made a commitment to go ahead and leave. But I think you can bear witness to the testimonies that have gone before me. It's hard at best to walk away from that. And when you hear the stories and you hear the lives and you hear the community members that have gone before me, it's an obligation that I made here. And I'm going to stay here and build this community to be the best I can make it be. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lily Fortenberry, 2422 Somersworth Drive. I am a member of the Steeplechase Baptist Church. I met Jerry one day during our midday services. We are in the process at Steeple trying to reach out and help feed in the community. He just stopped by. He and the last one day just stopped by, and he told his story to us, which was it just touched my heart, because I know what he meant. I raised my youngest brother, and he was a victim of drug addiction. So I know what the battle is about. But God brought him through. And when I see him reaching out into a community to help people, it affects each and every one of us. It may be your son, your daughter, your brother, or your sister, but drug addiction is a disease that affects every family and every life. And I think this is such a wonderful program. If you have not been to the Resilient House, you should go there and visit. I told him on one visit, I said, you're going to have a problem getting rid of people here. They're going to want to stay. They're going to want to stay. So I ask, we're getting something worthwhile in our community. Beautiful site. We're getting finances brought in. We're getting jobs for our people. It's much needed. So I ask this afternoon that you please vote yes. These are God-sent people. He, his wife, and his staff. Thank you.
We have one more person to speak in favor of.
My name is Melissa Anderson, 2911 Paradise Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana. I, too, am not a native of Shreveport, and I moved here in 2005, reluctantly, and I've been here for 12 years, and God's asked me for 12 years to put my roots here, and I've fought him for that. In my research of Shreveport, I've learned that Shreveport is a place, that's one of the top 10 places to start over, and it's also a place of healing. And so I speak on this behalf to vote yes today, because the first 10 years that I lived in Shreveport, my job was to find jobs for people that didn't have them because of addictions or drugs, or because of parents that raised them that had addictions or drugs and they couldn't find those. So for 10 years, I know what it's like to find an employer that cares and wants to work with people. And so for anybody that wants to bring $120 25 jobs to our area. That's a win. For anybody that wants to do that and at the same time fight drugs and addiction, that's a win. And I know that God does work all things together for those who love him and are called according to his purposes. And I know that there's not anybody in here that hasn't been affected by drug and alcohol. Those same 10 people that I helped, or those same 10 years that I was helping people find jobs, we were also dealing with people that couldn't pay child support. Why? Because of drugs and alcohol. So when you look at the emotional, you look at the economical, you look at the social effects that it has on our community, it's vast. For the last 3 years, I've spent my time in real estate, and so this cause is very significant to me personally. I have seen the Fodels from a distance, and in recent days, I've seen them up close. I have seen the facility, I've toured the facility, and I would echo everything that's been spoken today, that it is world-class, that it is top-notch. When you see something great, you want to go after it, and I've seen greatness in these people for a very long time, and I just ask that you would support and say yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there those here to speak in opposition to the application?
Good afternoon. I kind of feel like Daniel must have in the lion's den, or David with Goliath with only a slingshot and a rock, but here goes my slingshot and rock. I am a 17-year resident of the Steeplechase community. My first knowledge of this proposed drug, alcohol, residential rehabilitation facility was on May 8th, this particular flyer. I've met with the Fodels. They are wonderful people. I do believe they are Christian people, but our only opposition is because it's in the neighborhood where we reside and pay property taxes. My concerns and fears are pretty point blank: property depreciation, safety, additional criminal activities in the community, and fear of expansion of this rehabilitation center or others developing in the future. I completed and received certification to sell real estate in Louisiana a few years ago. My studies taught me that real estate is valued and driven by the schools, the neighboring homes, and types of businesses that are within a certain radius. This residential facility literally is in the backyard of my fellow neighbors, and it steps away from a developed community where we live. The home values are $140,000 and above. Now, that may seem menial to you, but to us it's everything. Children, seniors, elderly are homeowners, and safety is our most important factor. Fences offer a false sense of security and privacy, because just last year someone crossed my 8-foot cedar fence in my backyard attempting to uninvitingly enter into my home. I, of course, got additional security because of that. As well, children play in the park to the adjoining facility, and homeowners, myself included, walk in the walking trails that are amongst the neighborhood. Steeplechase homeowners pay an annual dues to maintain these parks and walking trails with pride and with their hard-earned wages. It's a no-brainer that businesses want to expand. So another concern and fear is that this facility will expand to increasing bed capacity and possibly even bringing new and other proprietors into the area for additional drug and rehabilitation residential facilities. So if safety of children, single women, elderly, single people, homeowners, taxpayers who live in the Steeplechase community are not your concern, then of course vote to have this drug and alcohol rehabilitation center to move forward. But if the people who live in the city of Shreveport, along with where you live, work, and worship, are valued, or hold any value to you, you will vote against this proposal. If your vote is moved forward, I heard some people saying that people are leaving Shreveport. Well, yes, guess what? I will be one of those. I'm prepared to sell my home where I was born, reared and educated and dearly loved. My parents taught me that I shouldn't live in fear of my life and my surroundings, rather to thrive where you're appreciated. I brought my father, my 94-year-old father, with me here today, who is also a resident of Shreveport, just to show him the obstacle that he knows that I've dealt with in being a single woman, being a divorced woman, and being a homeowner, have gone through. I wanted him to see the process, and I wanted him to understand that I am doing my due diligence, and that it is up to those who have authority over me to make a decision as to whether I'm still here locally with him, or he'll have to just come and visit me a whole lot. Thank you.
Chair.
Yes.
She didn't give her name and address.
We need to get your name and address.
Tell her to come
for the record.
back. I will ask.
You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
And we have a question.
Yolanda Mitchell, Duckworth, 7104 Bobtail Drive.
have a question.
I have a question. You say that if this facility was built, you would be living in fear?
Yes.
And my question to you, all of the crime that we have in this city, are you not afraid right now? All of the crime, I mean, every time you pick up.
Yes, I am. This is an additional fear. This is an additional fear.
I think this is just me. I think this will help your fear.
No, ma'am, you don't know me. I reject that. You don't know me. You cannot tell me what will reject my fear.
Okay.
My fear is my fear, and I would appreciate you to respect that.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would wish to speak in opposition?
Good afternoon. I'm Harry Haynes. I reside at 6305 Garden Oaks Drive in Shreveport, 71129. We've lived out there since 1970. It is a great neighborhood. It's a wonderful place to raise kids. It's quiet. We have very little problems. Everybody on Garden Oaks Drive, with the exception of 4 residences, are adamantly opposed to the drug rehab going into this location. I think without question, nobody would be opposed to it if we could jack the buildings up and move them into a medical scenario away from approximately 300 homes. That's what we're doing. We're going to drop a business into an area that is surrounding by homes. I hope you will vote against. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
My name is Jerry Field. I live at 7027 Buford Way. Ms. Whitney asked a question, you know, you said about, are we afraid of the crime already in Shreveport? Well, to me, with this, what they want to put over there will bring more crime to our community. Well, that's what we're trying to keep out our community. I'm going to want to oppose against that because I have kids. And with me getting a good understanding about this here, they're going to have people coming in from all over, you know, corporate people and everywhere that have drug addiction. Yes, drug addiction. I'm for anybody that want them, but we have enough program here already in Shreveport, you know, supposed to help our people that are addicted to drugs and that are on drugs. So I hope that y'all will vote no against this here because I'm looking out for my kids. They play in the park. With the, you know, we got all kind of vigilantes come through, the drug program and everything. They say they have security, but sometimes the security ain't always the answer. I like for to say y'all vote against it. Thank you. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Johnson. I reside at 7023 Buford Way. I stand before you today as a citizen of Shreveport and a homeowner of the Steeplechase community. I have a petition in opposition of the drug and rehab treatment facility named Resilient House that has filed for operation at 6319 West 70th Street. The community points of opposition are as follows. Inconsistent notifications regarding the establishment of this facility. Some residents never received information of any kind. They never received a knock at their door. They never received a flyer. The only flyer that I received was a flyer stating something in regards to a community crawfish boil. It did not say anything about a drug and rehab treatment facility. So what I did was I called the Homeowners Association president and I asked him, did he know anything about it? He told me that, yes, he did. He thinks that it is in regards to a drug and rehab treatment facility. So what I did was I went to the crawfish boil that Saturday. And I went to ask some questions, and I think I asked one of those questions to Mr. Fordell. And I asked him, I said, well, is this in regards to the drug and rehab treatment facility? And he told me that that's not what this is about. So, of course, I was like, okay, well, we'll proceed. So what I did was I were asking some of my neighbors. I said, well, do you know, have you heard anything about a drug and rehab treatment facility? And some of them said that they had gotten a flyer about a community crawfish boil. And some of them told me, they said, well, you know, I'm busy on Saturdays and if it said a community crawfish boil, then I just took it out to mean that maybe that was something that the Homeowners Association was doing and that some of the members would show up and some of them would probably not. So my problem with this, one of my problems is that I don't feel like I was given the information that I needed to be given in an instance like this. I don't think, now, Mr. Fordell is probably a very nice man. I've heard that some people got, like some of the churches, they say they came to the churches to, you know, ask them about how they felt about this facility. Well, I stay in the back door of this facility, and I never, ever got a knock on my door. I got one flyer in my mailbox. I don't think that was enough for me. And the residents never attended the meeting. Residents of Steeplechase have the right to sit down with the organizers of this facility to voice their concerns and let them know what we do not want in our neighborhood. Crime statistics. The Steeplechase community consists of District 9, which has a low crime rate. Drug and alcohol use commit property and violent crimes to obtain money to satisfy costly and highly addictive habits. I mean, I know that we have family members or friends or other individuals that are affected by drug and alcohol. We have residents for the safety of steeplechase, families, children, elderly people, parents, elderly parents who feel very comfortable in their homes. To bring this facility into this neighborhood based on the crime statistics, we as residents and homeowners should be able to say that we do not want it here. Home values, statistics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. The time has expired. There's a question.
Okay, well, can I say one last thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Last, but certainly not least, I would like to pose a question to the commission. How would you feel about a drug and rehab facility moving into your neighborhood based on the facts that were presented to you today? Because I'm sure that neither one of you stay in that area.
Ma'am, we have a question.
There's a question.
Ebony, would you let her show you where her house is in reference to this chart?
7023 Buford Way. I can look right out my door.
But could you point it out on this map that she's got in front of you?
Mm-hmm. I don't know where, is this Buford Way circle right here?
No, it's right to your right.
It's to my right.
Right there. Right, those houses are Buford Way.
My house is probably the 7th house on the left-hand side of the street when you come in.
That doesn't fall in the 300-foot area? That's why you didn't get a notice from the Mpc office?
Oh, yes, I did get a notice.
Okay, well,
I got a notice from you.
What I was trying to explain is you talked about crawfish boil and knocking on the door.
Mm-hmm.
The requirement for the state law, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, is we send out a 300-foot notice about a zoning change from an R1D to an R1D PUD. So,
well, all that's required by state law is that we put an article, an advertisement, or posting in the newspaper.
Right.
We do the notice, the 300-foot notice as a courtesy.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is you were mentioning all the other things that he went above and beyond and did to let people get familiar with the project.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's required by the state. So those things that you felt you were maybe slighted and didn't get a call, knock on the door, didn't get a invitation or something,
mm-hmm.
he went and talked to the churches because he wanted to get input about it.
Yeah, because he didn't want to get it from me because we stay right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is David Simmons, and my wife's name is Pamela B. Simmons. We live at 7402 Presbyterian Court in Steeplechase. I probably don't fall in that 300-foot area you're talking about, but I didn't know anything about this until, well, we got a letter about a crawfish boil, but my wife was out of town and Saturdays are just busy, so I didn't go to the crawfish boil. Didn't know anything was about this. We got this letter, and I introduced my wife because she wanted to speak, so she wrote it, what she wants to say, and I'm gonna read. But first of all, I want to say that I think it's wonderful what you're doing. I really do. Every city needs this type of facility. The reason I object, I don't think a facility like that needs to be in a neighborhood. It just doesn't. To listen to some of the facts that I've heard, and this is the first time I've heard it, you're taking 17 acres. Now he's purchased 17 acres. He's already built the facility. But now you're gonna tell him whether he can open or not? I don't know. I've raised 2 children in that area. I'm 69 years old. And I'm not saying that you are going to be one way or the other, but it seems like the decision has already been made. If a person can go in and buy the land, build the building, and then get your permission, all that money that he's going to lose? I mean, I'm asking you not to. I think it's a great thing, but there are a ton. I drive all over this city. I've worked this city. There are all kinds of land. I'm not asking you to stick a facility 50 miles outside of the, we don't want to be around those kind of people. Well, I've been around those kind of people. I've had people in my family that were those kind of people. We do understand, but we got to understand this as well. Their land all over this city, 17, 20, 50 acres, right in the city with all of that they need. I'm going to read because I got 41 seconds. I want to let my wife speak. Hello, I am a nurse practitioner and a faculty member at one of the local universities. I live in Steeplechase. I have lived there about 20 years. Please let it be clear, I am firmly against the plans to insert a facility such as Resilient House into our community. I live a short distance from the proposed facility site, and I object to the type and location of the business. I have several concerns that include the way this project has been presented. First, through a mail invitation in early May with little lead time and even less information. I was out of town, thus could not attend. Then, secondly, with the announcement dated May the 31st, advising us of a hearing scheduled for today, June the 7th. Ironically, the instructions state I could send written comments if they were received 7 days before the hearing. Impossible to do since the memo was not received until June the 3rd, 4 days before the actual hearing. I have to work the day of the scheduled hearing, but I want my voice to be heard. So I am sending written comments in hope that it can be shared at the June 7th meeting. I do not want this community to have happen to it what happens to many black communities in Shreveport. That is, inserting less than popular businesses into them. People who don't live in the community should not be making decisions to put businesses that they would not accept in their own communities in mind. We have asked for a decent restaurant, can't get one. Just unhealthy fast food restaurants. We need good, healthy businesses, not this, not Resilient House or any house like it. No, we do not need a plethora of drug-abusing people with all kinds of backgrounds, many of them suspect, added to the flow of our community. We have enough problems trying to maintain this neighborhood as a safe, family-friendly neighborhood. If this deal isn't done, which I suspect it is, don't do it. Listen to the members of our community and don't put Resilient House in our neighborhood. Thank you.